All right, now that we have all of our representative white balance slices, all we have to do to finish our white balance sheet is to add titles. Just as a reminder, let me click on our finished product here. This is where we're going, and everyone should be at least to this point right here where you have all of your uh, selections made and all of your different slices copied and pasted in to make one complete image. So to move on to add titles, it's really a pretty simple process. We're just going to be using tools, some of the tools that we used already, and then we're going to add text. We're going to start by over here going to our layers palette. Now make sure that you slide this slider to make sure that you're all the way to the top, because you want to select the top layer. So our first step is to select the top layer. Once we have that selected, we're going to come down here to the bottom of the layer palette to the little page icon. It looks like a little page with the lower left hand corner kind of folded up. We're going to click on that, and that's going to create a new layer right here. New layer. That's going to be our box across the top where we're going to put our title. So we're going to make sure that that layer is selected. We're going to come over and make sure that we choose our rectangular marquee tool for our select tool, just like we did for our just like when we made our vertical stripes. We're going to make a horizontal one this time. So we're going to start at the upper left corner, click in the gray, holding the mouse button down, and drag till we have a selection that looks approximately like this. Okay, so once we have that selection, now that selection is on this empty layer. So whatever we add to this selection, it's going to go on that layer initially. And what we're going to do is I want to fill this selection with a gradient. So we have a gradient tool right here, and in order to decide what colors our gradient is, we're going to come down here, down to these two boxes, and if you just click on the top one, you'll see that it brings up this color choosing, color picker window, and you can choose whatever colors you want. So if I pick a light blue, I'll click OK. Now you'll see my, right here, my box changed to that light blue. I'm going to click down here. Now I want to change, maybe I want to go with a kind of a dark blue for my other color. So now I've got a light blue and a dark blue. If I come up here to my gradient tool, select the gradient tool, click at the bottom and drag up, drag it straight up and let go. And now I've got this really nice gradient. However, I want my dark color to be on the bottom, so I'm going to start at the top and drag it down, and that should give me my dark blue at the bottom and my light blue at the top. All right, now that we have our top banner, we can start putting our icons in. I put in each individual folder, I put a file called WB Icons, and so let's go to our open, and we'll navigate to that our folder again in our shortcut in our class folder, and go to our white balance sheet folder, and in there is a file called WB Icons. It's a Photoshop file. Let's open that up. And this is what it looks like. Okay, so what we want to do, if you remember from the last video, if we select our Move tool and we hold the Control key and click on a layer, each of these icons, if you look over here in the layer palette, each of these icons is on its own separate layer. But if I want to select this top one, which is Automatic White Balance, AWB, and I hold the Control key and click on it, that gives me my that gives me access to that layer. So I'm going to take that layer with the Move tool, I'm going to click, and I'm going to simply drag it up here and then drag it back down, and my white balance icon shows up right here. Now it is still selected, so we're going to do Control D, and we're going to deselect it. Now there's no more selection around it. What we're going to do is we're going to add each icon the same way. So we're going to go back to our icon file. We're going to come down here. I'm going to Control click on this incandescent or tungsten light, and I'm going to simply drag it up and drag it down, and there we go. Now these icons are in order, so if I go back here, they're in order. These should be the order that you shot your photos in from top to bottom. So the images, the slices of images that you've got here from left to right should be in the same order. So simply come down to the next one, Control click on my fluorescent, and drag it up here, drag it back down, and there we go. So I'm going to place these above each stripe. So that's what we're going to do. And so we're going to simply come back out, Control click, drag it up, drag it down, and there we go. Now we have all of the icons in. Now we can start adding our titles. It's pretty simple to add type. But before we do the type, I just want to point out, and I want you to pay attention over here in the layer palette, the lower right corner, the layer palette. Notice that I have a lot of layers here now. You'll see that we've got our original 6 photos, or 8 photos, excuse me, and then we've got the layers that we made, that we created. Those are all labeled layer 1 through 8. But above those, then we've got our banner layer. If I turn that on and off, you can see that's our banner layer, that's our colored layer. And then above that, we've got all of our icons. So we've got all of these layers, and we're going to continue to add layers, but we need them to go on. We need to continue to add them above the other layers. So what we're going to do is we're going to make sure that we've got this top layer selected, activated, that it's grayed out. All right, once we have this one grayed out, then we're going to come over to our type tool. We're going to click and hold on it, and we're going to click vertical type tool. That just allows us to type text in a vertical format. So I'm going to come underneath my automatic white balance icon, and I'm going to just click inside my stripe there, and I'm going to type auto for auto white balance. All right. Now you might actually have to go and change some things. You might want to change the font. You can do it right here by highlighting the text. If I click here and just say I want to pick a different font. There we go. I've got a different font. I can come up here and change the size right here. So I click here. Maybe I want to go just a little bit bigger than that. Okay, so, and I can change my color here as well. So if I wanted to make a different color, I don't want to. I want to leave it white. But if I wanted to change a different color, I could simply click any old color here, and that would do fine. But I want white, so I'm going to stick with white. All right, so we have auto. We've got our type done. And what I want to do now is I want to select my move tool. All right, that's just going to deselect my text. Now my text is there. If I come over to my layer palette, I can see that auto, that's my layer auto right there. And I want to double click in this gray area. Now pay attention, you don't want to double click on the title, because if you double click on the title, it's going to ask you to change the title. You don't have to double click, and you're just anywhere outside here in this layer, just double click, and that will bring up this menu. I want to come down here to the very bottom, and I want to click drop shadow. But not only do I want to check the checkbox, I also want to click on the actual box that the drop shadow is in, because what that'll do is it'll open up this context sensitive menu, and it'll allow me to change some things. I want to make sure that the blend mode is normal, that my color is whatever color you want it to be. Black works for me for now. The opacity, I'm going to change that to 100%. Make sure that's 100%. And then if you watch here, okay, watch right over here. And as I slide this slider, you can see that my shadow actually moves. That's the distance from my object to the shadow. So there I've got it right up kind of tight behind it where I want it. The spread kind of changes the size of your shadow. It kind of spreads it out. And then the size kind of softens it up. Okay, so I'm going to leave it just about there. There's my auto with the drop shadow. I'm going to click OK. Now from here, I want all of my titles that go underneath here to look the same. So I'm just going to copy this, and then I'm going to edit it to be the word that I want it to be. So in order to copy it, I'm going to make sure I have my move tool selected. I'm going to hover over it. I'm going to click and drag it around. Okay, just want to make sure that that's over here, that's the layer I'm on. Now, in order to copy it, I'm going to hover over it, hold down the Alt key, and you'll see your cursor will change to two, kind of a double arrow there, a black and white, and I'm going to simply click and hold and drag it while I'm holding the Alt key until I get it over here. Then I'm going to release my mouse button first, and then release the Alt key. Now I've got a duplicate. Now you'll see over here in the layer palette, we've also got another layer. So it created a new layer, and it says auto copy, and that's okay. Now you can do two things. You can copy this over and just continue to copy it over, or we can edit it right now and then copy the edited version over. So because this is already selected, I'm going to go ahead and edit it now. So I'm going to come over here to my type. I'm going to click on it, and I'm going to highlight the text. Now this next one I'm going to call tungsten. All right, so tungsten light, and so I've used the word tungsten. Now I'm going to go up to my move tool, click the move tool. I'm going to simply hover over it, hold the Alt key so I can duplicate it, click while I'm holding the Alt key and drag it over while I'm holding the Alt key. All right, and I'm going to let go of the mouse button first. There's my next layer. You'll see tungsten copy if you look in the layer palette over here. Well, this icon right here is my fluorescent. So I'm going to grab my type tool again. I'm going to come over and highlight it. Okay, and then I'm going to type fluorescent, F-L-U-O-R-E-S-C-E-N-T, fluorescent. Okay, so I'm going to just highlight my, I'm not sure I've got a capital F there. I do, okay. So there's no such thing as a capital F in this particular font. So I'm going to grab my move tool again, click my move tool. Now I've got auto, tungsten, fluorescent. Now I'm going to hover over it, hold my Alt key to make a copy, click and drag it over to the right to make a copy. Let go of my mouse button first, then let go of my Alt key. Now I've got fluorescent here, but I'm going to edit that to be daylight. So I'm going to simply come over here to my text tool again because I'm editing the text. Click on it, come over, click and drag on my fluorescent, and I'm going to change it to daylight. So there's my daylight. All right, now I'm going to come and get my move tool again. So I'm going to grab my move tool, hold my Alt button down, and type preset. And that takes care of all of my text. Now you'll notice each time I made a copy, it came over here and it made a new layer. But as I edited my text, it also changed the title. So if we go down here just a little bit, we can see I've got my auto, tungsten, fluorescent, daylight, okay, flash, cloudy. Uh-oh, shade is spelled wrong, so that's at least I can see that. So I'm going to come up here. I've got it selected right here. I'm simply going to highlight these two, and they were juxtaposed, so I'm going to fix them. All right, there we are. We've got all our titles across the bottom. All we need now is to add a title on the top, and really we do that the exact same way, except we use our type tool. If we click and hold it, we use the horizontal type tool. I'm going to click up here. Well, I shot this with a Nikon D3000, so I'm going to type Nikon D3000, white balance, oops, got to spell it right, white balance settings. There we go. Now I'm going to grab my move tool right here, click on it, I'm going to drag this down. I like that I want to put maybe a drop shadow on this text as well, so I'm going to simply come down here, double click on it, oops, double click on it, and click on my drop shadow, click OK because I like it just the way it is, and there you go. Completed project. Simply name it now. Go ahead and do a file, save as, last name, first name, dash, white balance sheet. And that should take care of it. You make sure you're saving it into your folder on the G drive, your class, your name folder. All right, so I'm going to put it in my folder under white balance. I'll save it. And then from there, I'm going to copy it into the turn in folder to turn it in. And that's all you have to do.